Hey, what's up? This is Michael coming from the platform Let's Start Something. If you've seen any of these videos, you'll know that I'm trying to start the conversation. Really, I post a video, you post a video. Use the platform Let's Start Something, and it's the conversation. Like, we're not actually sitting down with each other having the conversation, but you can watch my video, I can watch your video, and hopefully we can learn from each other and share each other's experiences. Now, so if you're familiar with Let's Start Something, you know that I have my focus with this whole thing is opioids and fentanyl abuse and the addiction and how it affects people. I've been clean personally for 4 months, and I'm going to be clean the rest of my life because I'm going to work every day to make sure I'm clean and to get everybody else clean. Why? Because it kills people. Killed me once, right? I died from 3 hits off a pill one time, and a guy I knew all of about 10 minutes maybe saved my life, disappeared, and never saw him again. So that's a story for some other time. I knew a woman who was a friend of mine who was a kind of a thief. She took my phone. She took the last phone I had on the streets. It was lasted maybe like 12 hours. I was so hot, but I shouldn't have left it laying around, and that's my fault. But anyways, 3 days after that, no, that's not right. We went to Cast, right? Cast is a shelter for the homeless. You go out there, they call it Tent City. It's horrible. The feeling on your skin and just, oh, it's just evil, man. Nobody, and it's not the people. You can tell that there's demonic presence in that area. There's a demonic presence around large groups of people who are just not with the program, right? They're not even hip to what's going on around them. They're out there just high as a kite. Yeah, I just got photobombed. That's awesome. Thanks, Matthew. So what I want to do is I want to introduce to you a friend of mine who I've known maybe all of about a week. Unfortunately, he has terminal cancer. They just told him that he's got 2 weeks. So he's not going to talk about being clean because he's not. He's taking plenty of meds right now, like 60 milligrams of Oxycontin. That would blow me away. But he's doing that because he's terminal, right? But he's been doing opioids and these kind of drugs for a long time to help him with the pain. And that's fair. I think everybody who is terminal should be as comfortable as they possibly can as they're leaving this world and going to a better life. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Stuart, and I'm going to ask him some questions and see what he says, because not everybody's the same, right? Hey, Stuart, what's up?
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Hello, everybody.
How old are you, Stuart?
I'm 52.
You're 52. So you were born what year?
1970.
1970. So you were born 6 years before me, right?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been doing opiates?
For about 34 years.
34 years. Now, when did it start being a thing for pain?
About 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. How long ago was it when you started fentanyl?
That was a few months back.
Just a few months. Now, being in that scene, how many people have you seen die?
Oh, plenty.
Well, give me a number.
About 15.
15 people, right? From overdose from fentanyl, right?
Yes.
Were they smoking it, slamming it? What were they doing?
Smoking.
All right, they were smoking it. Okay, like I told you, I was dead because I took 3 hits off a pill, and I've been doing pills for days. So it was just like a shocker to me that all of a sudden I take 3 hits and I hit the floor.
Wow.
All right, so it's dangerous, right?
Yes.
So you see what I'm doing right here. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get people to open up and talk about their situation. Your situation's a little bit different because you're terminally ill. I hope to God that the doctors are wrong. I hope it turns out to be more like 6 months, a year, and not 2 weeks. But I wanted to make sure and get a video of you and talk about your experience, because now I can make you immortal. You'll always live in our hearts. I'll always have this video and always be able to share it. Does that sound cool?
Thank you.
All right. So, Stuart, since you've been here, have you gotten any help?
I have.
Mm-hmm. You getting your identification soon?
Yes.
All right. And then what are we going to do after that?
You're going to help me with Social Security and all the benefits that I'm supposed to be getting.
All right. And when you have your documentation, we can go ahead and get you a phone, right?
Yes.
And so is that one of the services I provide here for free? I help people get their phones?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
So that's giving back to my community, even though it seems like we're locked down here all the time, right?
Oh, yes. That's one thing that I don't like.
Yeah, we don't like it because we don't have any freedom, but it's certainly better than prison.
Yeah, I understand it's better than the streets.
But even prison has its pros because we can get a job, we can work out, we can stay busy. I went to college. I did a lot of different things, carpentry, plumbing, even HVAC. I got screwed out of that. It seems like every time I started to do something right in prison, they took it They took it from me. Excuse me. So, what do you think? I mean, you seem really calm, laid back. Like this is not affecting you at all. Is that how it always is, or are you just hiding your pain?
I'm just hiding the pain.
Yeah, that's I do the same thing. You know what I mean? I hide it very well. What's your off topic? What's your zodiac sign?
I'm Sagittarius.
You're a Sagittarius. All right, cool. All right, I'm a Libra. It makes no difference, but I just off topic. Just want to get around that. Okay, so right now, even just making this video, is there anything I can do for you that would help you be comfortable?
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. So
Thank you.
they're making you comfortable with the medication, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you don't have it? How do you feel?
Oh my God, it's terrible. I feel like dying.
Hmm. So
Well, I am.
well, you are. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just, trying to make the mood. So let me ask you something. If when you start to become sick and you don't have what you need, is it about the high anymore, or is it about survival?
It's about survival.
Right. And see, that's what people don't understand. I don't think that they think we're just out there just living it up, having a good time, huh?
Yeah, it's just they're trying to put in for a free high or something. So I called the paramedics one time to go to the hospital because I was in pain so bad. I didn't want to do any street drugs, and the paramedics they told me, they said, "Oh, I'm not going to take you because you were just trying to get a free high."
Okay. So that's not fair, right?
No, that wasn't fair at all. And I told him, I said, "Well, what if you were in the pain that I was in? Would you be knocking at the doctor's door for pain meds?"
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And one of my focuses is, I may not have told you that once I hope to get my business off the ground and be the CEO of my own company. The purpose of that is I get to pay myself what I want, and my employees what they're worth. So when and if this happens, it's going to happen probably within the next 2 years, I imagine. I got some legal issues I need to take care of right off the rip. I'm currently going to rehab. Did you know that? Yeah, so 4 days a week I was scheduled to go to rehab. This place didn't like the fact that I wasn't coming home exactly when I was supposed to, because I was spending time with family, because I haven't seen my daughter and my grandkids. I haven't even met my granddaughter until last week. So it's good for my psyche, right, to find people who care.
Right.
Yeah, the more people that care, the more likely you're going to hold on. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So that's another little bit of information that I like to share with the public about things. So I want to change the perspective, the idea that we are less human than anybody else. How many times have you been to a hospital and they treated you like shit because you have a problem? Or because you use drugs?
A lot of times.
A lot of times. Have you ever had a time where they just treated you like a human being, even though they knew you were doing something else?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Was it rare?
Very rare, yeah.
Okay. So my focus on that too is I want to change the perspective in hospitals. Both doctors and nurses need to understand that this is an illness and that it's no different, in my opinion, as if so somebody had Down syndrome or, chicken pox, or it doesn't matter what it is. It's an illness that we can't control. Now, I'm not labeling you an addict, but do you think are you an addict?
I am.
Okay. So yeah, 30 years of using opiates, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
But now I'm just doing it not for the pleasure, but for the pain.
Right, and if you don't have it, it's absolutely miserable. Not only when you're in pain, you're going to be sick, right?
Right.
All right, so what I need to do, what I need to do in this effort that I'm doing is help to change the perspective. I hope to gain enough money, enough wisdom and understanding on the issue. I know that doctors have killed me in a hospital because they didn't know what I was on, all right? And they had to bring me back. Other times I've had to lie about my issues so they would treat me like a human being and give me what I needed. My ex-wife, unfortunately, she had severe anxiety when it was time to go to a hospital for something. She had viral meningitis once, and I had to force her to go to the hospital because she didn't want to go. I mean, she was in a lot of pain, so she didn't put up a huge fight, but she didn't want them to treat her like shit because they would know that she's on something, okay? And at that time, it was just methamphetamines, no big deal, right? So, anyways, she's clean now, doing what she's got to do. She's an awesome person. I appreciate her so much, and I'm proud of her. Even though she refuses to talk to me, I think she's amazing, and I'll always tell the world that. But, so, we go to the hospital, right? And I told her, I said, look, I'm going to protect you. So I'm make sure that everybody's going to treat her right. If they get out of line, I'm going to let them know it. Eventually, it gave her a good shot of like Demerol or something like that. It was kind of like a cocktail, if I can remember correctly. And the pain just left her, man. Her head felt like it was going to pop off. And viral meningitis is a killer, right? So if I didn't convince her, we didn't make it to the hospital, it might have killed her. And I'm so happy that she's still alive. But she had that anxiety. Several times with the hospital. She has Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's when your skin burns from the inside out, like a 3rd-degree burn.
Oh wow.
Right? I've seen rashes on this woman that made me want to cry. I couldn't help her. I couldn't touch her. There's nothing I could do. And that poor woman was so miserable and so much pain. But I think now they're giving her some medication to help manage it. They have to, because I think she breaks out even more. She loves to smoke pot, all right? She's given everything up, and that's cool. But she smokes pot for just coping with everything she's had to cope with in the last few years. So, but when she does that without the medication, she'll break out. So thankfully, they came up with another medication that is working, I think. Some days she has some bad days, but most of the time, it's much better than it used to be. It was kind of freaky. It even scared me, and I didn't even know what to think. I thought it was demonic. I mean, there was a time where there was a lot of really bad things going on between me, her, my brother, my kids. It was just miserable. But, all right, so that's what it is. You can actually, if you ever watch House, you can find an episode where they talk about Stevens-Johnson syndrome, because House is like a doctor and figuring out how to not kill people, but heal people, right? So I don't want to get too much off topic. I'm just telling you a little bit by myself, because you really don't know. We just barely known each other for a while. And I wanted to get you on camera and get your story out there. So let me ask you, do you think it's fair that fentanyl right now is taking over our city?
I think it's fair.
Well, do you think that society in a whole right now is doing what they need to do in order to protect themselves and protect their kids and get people off the street?
In some ways, not a lot.
Not a lot, right? How much information would you find out there on fentanyl right now? Can you go just get a piece of paper? Can you look it online?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and reverse the camera and tell the public what's going on. Okay. So as you can see, Stuart has been through it just like most of us who have been on opiates have. It's really not my drug of choice. It's just something I did because I was in pain and I got hooked on it, and it just led me to another drug that I used to do quite often, which was methamphetamines. The problem with that right now is that the drugs that we're getting from Mexico are all cut with fentanyl. Not to get you stung out on fentanyl, but when you're on methamphetamines and it's cut with fentanyl, what happens? You go up and you go right back down. So what are you gonna do when that happens? You're gonna spend more money, you're gonna hustle more, you're gonna steal more, you're gonna do whatever to get it, especially if you're hooked on it. So that's a problem, right? Not only for our communities, for our stores, for Walmart, for Big Lots, Walgreens. I can name a dozen different places that I had to rip off every other day just to survive. So with that knowledge, I want you to know that this little blue pill with an M on it, right, that's floating around our city here in Phoenix, Arizona, is called fentanyl, but it also is called a blue. And so as you can understand, if you are using meth, I guarantee if you go drop a UA, it's going to come up with fentanyl, and you're going to be like, what the hell? Yeah, it's cut with it. So I don't have a personal problem with, say, like the cartel or anybody who's trying to make money, because I get it. You know, they're over there. Their situation is a little bit different than ours. I don't have a right to tell them or even be mad at them for what they do. But, you know, if you can find somebody and talk some sense into them and say, look, man, my child just died last week of fentanyl overdose, right? Off of the drugs you push. Okay? My brother just died last week because of the drugs you push. My best friend was found dead in her bedroom when her husband came home from being in jail. He got bonded out, came home. This is a true story, by the way. Came home, had to kick open the door and found her ice cold. Fentanyl overdose, right? It's killing people. So if I was going to tell them anything, look, man, what you're pushing is killing people. Now, everybody from every age group, even your grandma to your grade school kids, are walking around the street going, I got the blues. Why? Because they're cheap, right? If you know what you're doing, you can get 100 pills for $100, and then it goes from you just using to selling in order to support your habit. But once you get going, you're not thinking about anybody else. You're thinking about just yourself. It's not that you're selfish or inconsiderate. It's because you're fucked up and you need help. And the reason why is because this stuff is addictive. seriously addictive. It's 100 times more potent than morphine, and you'll be hooked on it within a few days. And then when coming off of it, you're going to be miserable. So it starts with you want to get high, and then ends with you're trying to survive, literally, in your brain and your body. There's nothing you can do to fight it. You have to survive. And people need to understand that. The doctors, the nurses, the clinics, the people, the community need to understand how devastating this drug is to our streets. It's killing people. It's making them weak. It's making the city weak. I know that you may have a car, you may have a job, or if you don't have one, you can drive down any city block here in Phoenix, Arizona, and see the bus stops, the QTs, the Circle Ks, the gas stations, full of people that are not only homeless and not only desperate, but just trying to survive. They're all strung out on fentanyl. Every single one of them. And if they don't get help, they're going to die. And if they've been on it for a long time, I give them at least a 50% chance of getting the help that they need. So this is a very serious thing. I'm very seriously committed to what I'm doing. I'm going to be a public servant. I'm going to get my certificate for peer support. I'm going to own my own business, and that business is setting up networks and clinics and help. If I can get the federal government to give us some money, we can start more clinics. We can get more information out there. We can put a phone in everybody's hand, whether they're homeless or not, so they can call family, they can call detox, they can call help any place they can to. And I also am going to have a chauffeuring service, probably going to be called Hero Haulers, because that's what it was originally, and he's going to merge with me. And what we have is we're going to probably get some Tauruses, if you know, Ford Taurus, a couple of those donated to us, and we're going to give free rides to the public. Anybody, if you're a mom and you need kids to go to school, if you need to go to work, it will help anybody. But generally, I'm going to use the service to get these people off the street and get them help. I will give them a free ride to where they need to go, like detox of their choice. And when they're done, they can call me. I'll pick them up and take them to a rehab, whatever they need, and make sure they get clean. I'm really dead serious about this. I have friends in high places that got lots of money that are willing to donate to this charity. I just have to wait to get back on my feet, literally, because I'm stuck in a wheelchair because I got hit by a car because I was strung out on some kind of opiate. That was heroin then. Then I found fentanyl in order to take care of the pain because I was broken. Literally, legs were trashed. So, but now I'm getting better. I made the effort to get off the streets. I've been clean 4 months now. The 21st was my 4-month I say birthday or whatever, or, anniversary. I don't really pay attention to that. It just so happens that somebody knows when they wrote it down, and my Choice Recovery is aware of it, so they reminded me. Oh, hey, they had to tell me, hey, today's your anniversary. I'm like, okay. I really don't care about the dates. Makes no mind to me. I don't care, right? Because I'm not the person that I used to be, right? Even when I was screwing up on fentanyl, what that did to me made me miserable. It changed my chemistry. It changed my way I thought. It changed the way I look. It changed everything about me. I'm going to tell you that I called my mom at 45 years old. I'm 45 years old. I called my mom after 2 weeks of being off the street, hysterical. Like, I'm crying, hysterical, because I'm scared that I'm going to go back out on the streets. I'm going to get hooked on this shit. And I'm going to die, right? And I didn't even know who I was. I didn't understand what was going on, and I was begging, like my ex-wife, to please talk to me, to bring me back to reality, not push me even further down. I don't think that's her intention. She's really hot at me and resents me because I was homeless. Our son got killed by accident. It's all bad. But what I'm going to tell you though is that I'm going to be here for you. You can find me on Facebook, Michael Merriman. Look for the guy with the mohawk and the medical equipment behind him. It's called a hyperbaric chamber. I had to spend 30 days for 2 hours a day in that chamber to help heal my leg. It had a bad infection. I also give a shout out to Banner University Hospital. They've done everything they can to save my leg, and not everybody was on board with that. They were ready to cut it off, and I wasn't having it. So they are awesome. They've done everything they can. I'm waiting on new surgery, so that's going to be a plus. Both in my left knee and my right leg, and I know it's going to be successful. Within months now, I'll be back on my feet, back out on the streets, and doing what I got to do, not just for me, but for you. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what your ethnicity is, and what you've done in life. If you need help, you can talk to me. Send me a video, send me a message on my email, michaelmerriman@onmail.com. That's at onmail.com. You can look at me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. And you can just post your own videos. Use the slogan, use the platform, let's start something, because that's going to catch on. And the idea is starting a conversation about not just poverty, not just homelessness, but about fentanyl blues. That's my focus. About marijuana, if you want, alcohol. We're supposed to help each other as a community. But if we don't, we're going to keep driving by these people like they're scumbags, and they're not. They're human beings and they need help. And we need to get them off the street. So I appreciate any time and effort that you'll give to me. Say goodbye to Stuart.
Bye.
All right. Oh, that's Curtis. He's an awesome guy too. He's waiting for me to cut his hair or his beard. I don't remember. Hair or beard. Oh, it's all gone. Too late. I'm screwed because you found the clippers in there. Who did it for you?
Mike on Thursday.
Using my. Oh, he did on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you used my clippers because they're still in there. All right. No.
Mike
Oh.
took it.
Yeah, you're welcome, Stuart. Thank you. So this video is going to be posted 1,000,000 times, I bet, because I promised him that he's going to remain immortal, even if he might be gone in 2 weeks. So pretty sad, huh? Right? It's not because of his drug addiction. It's not because of his lifestyle. The man has cancer. It's terminal. He can't help it. But he's been given 2 weeks. I told him he's got 6 months to a year. I pray. So please pray for Stuart. Pray for me. Pray for my family. Pray for yourself. Pray for this community. Phoenix, Arizona is in deep trouble if we don't get this problem solved soon. My estimation is either 2025 or 2030. By that time, this drug will touch everybody in this city, everybody in Mesa, Scottsdale, Happy Valley, Wickenburg, Yuma, Tempe, you name it. It's going to flood this state, and everybody's going to be affected by it. Whether you're a mom, a son, a brother, a dad, a child, a grandchild, it's going to affect everybody one way or another, and you're not going to be able to stop it if you don't get on board and try to help me with this project. Because if nobody knows what's going on, how can they fix it? How can they prevent it from happening? I'm a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it proponent? Is that how you pronounce it? Like I'm a fan, or I'm promoting something. Is it proponent? No, proponent. Is that a word? I think so. I don't remember. But anyways, I think that prevention is the best form of fighting this drug, and any drug, because if you can convince your child to not be scared and to be the whistleblower, hey, if their friend's getting high and you don't want to be around them, let us know. We'll get a hold of their parents. We'll let their parents know. Please don't call the police, because cops just make a bad situation worse. And if you're a cop seeing this, I'm not talking about you. You already know that the laws in this state don't jive. And you already know that the laws against drugs in this state don't jive. Because why should people that are addicts, that are sick, that's actually an illness, spend time locked up like that ever fixed anything? I know, because I spent 13 years in prison and I did everything right. The last ticket I even had in prison was in 2001, right? I had a 4.0 GPA when I went to college in prison. I tried everything I can to get better, and I was. And it taught me a lot. And I want to share that information, that knowledge with the world, wherever and whenever I can. So I'm not bound in cops. Just don't go to the cops first unless you need to. Please go to your family. Get some, what do they call that? No, when somebody goes and does, it's called intervention, right? I've never had an intervention except when I was scared that I was losing my mind, because I had no feeling for anybody. Had no empathy for anybody. That was about when I was 14. I ended up going to a treatment center, and 2 weeks into that, I've changed my attitude right up, because I miss my mom and my family so much. But they kept me there for 90 days until the insurance wouldn't pay for it anymore. So I'm at about 23 minutes now. I promised that I would add this video and at least get an interview. I'm glad that Stuart was willing to do it. Eventually, there's several people here that are going to tell their story. And the reason for that is so you know you're not alone, whether you're addicted or not, and we can help, and you can help us. We appreciate any of your feedback. If you see this, let me know. Get at me. Facebook, TikTok, my email address. I'll give it to you one more time. michaelmerriman@onmail.com. ONMAIL. Okay, onmail.com. michaelmerriman@onmail.com. So I hope you have a wonderful night. God bless all of you guys. Please pass this on and share it, because my friends aren't your friends, and it could just keep going, and that's the purpose. God bless you. Have a good night.